TLE Front Office Services Lesson 2 is all about how to clean a PC. Regular cleaning can significantly increase the lifespan of your computer. And if you stay on top of it, cleaning will only take a few minutes each time. At the end of the lesson, you are expected to perform aftercare activities for tools, equipment, and paraphernalia. Conduct self-evaluation on the required performance. Cleaning the case. Step 1. Set up an area where you can blow dust. You will be using compressed air and vacuum to remove the majority of the dust from the inside of your computer. So set up an area that you can blow dust out without worrying about getting other things dirty. A garage or a workbench is a good choice, or you can go outside if it's a dry day. Try to set up a table so that you can easily access the computer without having to bend over or set it on the ground. Step 2. Gather all your supplies. You will need a Phillips screwdriver, compressed air, a small vacuum that can fit in narrow crevices, a toothbrush, and 99% isopropyl alcohol. Do not use an old vacuum with a metal tip, as these are usually poorly grounded and can damage your components. The best option is a newer handheld vacuum with an extended plastic hose. The toothbrush should have soft bristles and should be new. Step 3. Power down the computer and unplug all the peripherals. Shut down your computer and disconnect all the cables on the back. Make sure that the monitor is unplugged and that the USB cable, internet cable, speaker cable, and or anything else is unplugged as well. Flip the switch on the power supply and then remove the power cable. Step 4. Set the computer on its side. Place the computer on its side of your table or workbench. Make sure that the connectors on the back are laying closest to the surface. These connectors are attached to the motherboard and can help you ensure that you remove the correct side of the panel. Step 5. Remove the side panel. Remove the screw that hold the side panel in place. These screws can be found along the back of the computer. Most modern cases have thumb screw that you can remove without tools, though you may need to use the screwdriver for older cases or thumb screw that are too tight. Set the screws aside so that you don't lose them. Step number 6. Do an initial vacuum, depending on how long it's been in your environment. You could be greeted by a pretty gruesome sight. Dust has a tendency to collect and care on your components, and the entire inside may be covered with a fine layer of gray. Use your vacuum cleaner to do a pass over interior, sucking up a large bit of dust from the components and crevices. Be careful not to strike any of the components with the vacuum tips as you move it across the interior. Many components inside are very fragile, and bent pins and connectors can render your hardware useless. Step 7. Use the compressed air to blow dust out of crevices. Take your can of compressed air or air compressor and blow out the hard-to-reach crevices. Use the vacuum to help reduce the amount of dust that scatters in puffs. Avoid long sustained blasts, as it will make your can of compressed air too cold to hold. Don't blow compressed air on your pans. Blowing on the pans can make them spin faster than they are designed to, potentially damage them. Step 8. Clean the pans with a vacuum and alcohol. Use the vacuum to remove the large amount of dust on the pan blades. Dip your toothbrush into the alcohol and gently scrub the dust that remains off the blades. You may be able to assess the pans easier if you remove them first. You will need to remove the screw that secured the pan to the chassis and then disconnect the cable that connect the pan to the motherboard. Make sure that you note where the pan was plugged in so that you can easily reconnect it when you finish cleaning. Make sure to reach the pan to in the same direction that was originally installed. Fans blow in one direction and reversing the direction of airflow can significantly impact the cooling of your machine. Most fans have arrow pointed or printed on the top of the housing that indicates which way it blows. Step 9. Remove the components for deep cleaning. While a general vacuum and dusting is usually significant for basic cleaning, you'll want to remove individual components to really get them sparkling again. Make sure that you properly grounded before touching any of the internal components. When you remove the components, set them on an anti-static surface, such as wood or rubber. You may remove the graphics card by removing the screws that secure it to the case, releasing the tab underneath, and then gently pulling it straight out. You may have to disconnect power cables in order to fully remove it. Set the graphic card on your cleaning surface and use the brush and alcohol to remove stubborn dust. Removing the hard drive and any optical drives can make it easier to clean them, since they are often tucked away in hard-to-reach bays. Removing these drives typically involves opening both sides of the case so that you can reach the screw securing each side of the drive. Most optical drives are pulled out of the front of the case after the screw have been removed. Removing the CPU cooler will allow you to clean out the cracks of the heat sink, as well as brush the dust out of the pans. Heat sinks attach in a variety of different ways, so make sure to consult your documentation before trying to remove it. Some require you to remove a brackets from the backside of the motherboard. If you remove the CPU cooler, you will need to apply a new layer of thermal paste to the CPU before reattaching it. And step 10, dust all the grates, depending on your case. You may have some grates for fans and airflow. Use your compressed air to blow out the inside of the case and then run a feather duster over the grate for the outside. Next, we have cleaning the keyboard. Step 1. unplug the keyboard. Even if you're just planning on remaining vacuum over the keyboard, unplugging your keyboard first is probably a good idea. This will help reduce the chance of electrostatic discharge damage. Step 2. Use the vacuum. You can perform a quick clean of your keyboard by running the tip of the vacuum over their keys. Press the keys in so that you can reach all the crevices o yung tinatawag nating singit-singit na hindi natin ma-reach. Step 3, shake the keyboard upside down. Hold your keyboard upside down over a surface that's easy to clean or you don't care about. Run your hand over the keys while holding the keyboard upside down and shake it while you do so. You should see lots of debris shaking out. Step 4. Remove the keys. If you want to do a deep cleaning on your keyboard, you'll need to remove each of the keys so that they can be clean and you can access the inwards of the keyboard. Removing the keys is a little tedious, but you can save you from needing to replace your keyboard when it gets bad. To remove a key, press the key in front of it down. Insert a flat object such as car key or flatbed screwdriver under the key you want to remove. Gently pry the key up until it pops off. Repeat this process until the keys have been removed. Spacebar can be tricky, so you might want to leave the spacebar attached. Take a photo of your keyboard before removing the keys so that you have an easy reference for where they're supposed to go back to. Step 5. Disassemble the keyboard once you have taken all the keys off. You can take the keyboard housing apart, flip the keyboard over and unscrew all the screws holding it together. Separate the various parts, making sure that you know to where everything was connected. Different keyboards come apart in different ways, and some keyboards may not be able to be disassembled. For step 6, wash the components. Once the keyboard has been disassembled, you can start washing most of the components. Anything that is just plastic can go through the dishwasher or be hand washed. The keys can be washed individually by hand or put them in enclosed dishwasher basket. Most keyboards will have a rubber contact mat that give the keys their spring. This is completely non-electronic and can be run through dishwasher or cleaned with hot water and soap. Don't wash anything that has a logic board or circuitry. And don't wash any cables. You can hand clean around these things using rubbing alcohol and a brush. Step 7. Reassemble the keyboard once everything has been washed and been given plenty of time to dry. You can put everything back together. Rebuild your keyboard, ensuring that all of the components go back together the same way they came apart. Refer to the picture of your keyboard when reattaching the keys. You can reattach the keys by simply pressing them directly into their spot on the keyboard. Make sure that everything is completely dry and cool before putting everything back together. Any moisture can ruin the keyboard when it is plugged back in. Cleaning the mouse. Step 1. Unplug the mouse before you begin cleaning the mouse. Make sure that it has been unplugged from the computer. This will help prevent any damage to the mouse during the cleaning process. Step 2. Clean the buttons. Use a cloth or brush dip into rubbing alcohol and gently rub the buttons. Use a toothpick to run through crevices between buttons and lift up the debris inside. Wipe down all the surfaces that get touched and rubbed during use. Step 3. Clean the lens. Turn the mouse over and look at the lens underneath. Blow any excess debris off with compressed air and then run a cotton swab dip in rubbing alcohol around the lens once to remove stuck dust. Step 4. Clean the pads. Most mice have small rubber pads along the bottom. This helps the mouse glide over the mouse pad. Use a cloth dipped in rubbing alcohol to rub all the dust and debris that has attached to the rubber pads. Give the entire bottom a wipe down as well. And step 5, clean your mouse pad. Depending on your pad, you maybe have accumulated a fine layer of dust and debris on the surface of the mouse pad itself. Most mouse pads are safe to run through the dishwasher, though you can hand wash them well. Cleaning the monitor. Step 1. Power down the monitor. Make sure that the monitor is unplugged, disconnected from the computer. This will help prevent any static buildup. Step 2. Dust with a dry cloth. Use a microfiber or other soft cloth to very gently dust the screen. Do not pick at anything or try to scrub away debris. Simply run the cloth back and forth across the screen to pick up the dust. Don't use paper towels, toilet paper, or facial tissue, as these are usually rough and could damage the screen. Step 3. Make a cleaning solution. You can purchase specialized cleaning solution, but you can quickly and cheaply make one at home by mixing distilled water and white vinegar in a 50-50 solution. Dab or spray this into your cloth and then gently run the cloth across the screen. Every spray cleaning solution directly onto the screen, as this could seep inside and damage the components. Avoid cleaning solution with ammonia like Windex or ethyl alcohol. To summarize the lesson, here are the computer parts that need to be cleaned: case, keyboard, mouse, and monitor. Here are the materials needed in cleaning the PC: toothbrush, vacuum cleaner, compressed air, clean soft cloth or microfiber textile, working table, screwdriver, and isopropyl alcohol. Are you ready to? Let's check if you understand the lesson very well. Identify the materials needed to clean the following parts of computer: you may answer as many as you can, and I will give you 15 seconds to think of your answer. Your timer starts now. Time's up. For number 1, we have clean soft cloth, cotton swab or rubbing alcohol for our mouse. For our keyboard, we have vacuum cleaner, dishwasher, and screwdriver. For our case, we have working table, rubbing alcohol, compressed air, vacuum cleaner, and brush. And screwdriver. For our monitor, we have clean microfiber or soft cloth, isopropyl alcohol. To end up our discussion, let me share a quote from Tim Ron. Formal education will make you a living. Self-education will make you a fortune. This is Teacher Berna saying God bless you all.